Because I was here maybe 10 years ago, I only had 250,000.
Yeah, well, you know, as they say in France, technical difficulties related to the tertiary contingencies upon which the relative realities are based in the infidibulas, which are contrary to the contracts that we knowingly know and unknowingly know.
My peripheral neuropathy now is beginning to act.
Peripheral neuropathy, thank you so much. I'm not a doctor, don't quote me. But we're going to leave the open back up. Mr. David Robertson is kicking it open, so give him a round of applause.
Wrote this a while back. This is from the perspective of the bell tower on the Berkeley campus. Soundstone. My bells withhold nothing from those who are listening, gazing up from the campus as they walk in its paths. The clockwork unnoticed in waves of the hours, a landmark that sings as the days crest and pass. The sound surges through me, I gather the echoes. I go through the seasons again and again. Each time that you hear me, though you may not know it, the rhythm more settles its chiming refrain. 100 years swells on the landscape before me. The buildings below make their way, wax and wane. My bells so familiar, yet through the years different. The background is changing, I peal just the same. I stand in the center, I ring in the presence. Through times that are cherished, through times full of fear. Still close as the fog as it clings to the hills, or shining in sunlight, my heartbeat is here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
They must be watching.
I guess so. So this one, you may know somebody who's mired in this condition. Time freezes in the gradual filling of every room with piles of boxes, some empty, some containing plastic bags or the assorted bit of clothing, and the unsold material from local garage sales that could be worth something someday. Each year is a frame in a time-lapse movie depicting the construction of an illness, a dragon guarding against any diminution, barricaded within a narrow path that snakes through the house, dead-ending in walls of debris that encrypt once living space to imagine safety, impenetrable to intervention in labyrinths of deflection, centered in baleful potential hostility, radiating throughout your hoard. How can I reach your heart? If I take out one piece, will you shatter? Thank you.
David Robertson, welcome back. Let me just read the next set. We have Richard Sanderell, everybody, Philip Zimmerman, Al Nightingale, Dan Aaron, Ryan Austin Dennis, Avacha, Kim Kanara, David Erdreich, Greg Pond, Garrett Murphy, Cal Robbins, and Lord Haw Haw. I'm just making that up. We don't want Lord Haw Haw here.
But you'll take brouhaha instead.
Yeah.
Well, at least there's a brew in there.
Oh, boy.
Get him, baby. Here we go now. The slippery slope.
Minnehaha.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Too late, we're sliding.
No, brother, no Minnehaha. All right, well, the theme was music, so I don't know whether I should be nice first and then nasty later, so I'm going to be nice first.
Yeah, nice. Well, yeah.
Well, I'm feeling it. This is older one. It's called That Motown Song. There's a Motown song, a song of dance, a song that gives hope, a bringing together, and screams of revolution. A song the Grateful Dead covers this song all night in the Avalon Ballroom, and everyone just keeps getting higher and higher. That song is the great Martha and the Vandellas, backed up by the funk band, Dancing in the Streets in 1964.
Yeah.
It is a great dance song sung with spiritual joy by Martha Reeves. She sings that what we need is music, sweet music, and it doesn't matter what you wear, just long as you are there. It gives hope to those who had none and screams of coming together, which makes it revolutionary. A taking over the streets to dance, the Vandellas' voices soar in joy. Remember, this is the heights of the civil rights movement and the stepping up of the war USA took to Vietnam and beyond. I learned more recently that all the cities named in this piece is where blacks rioted against the empire, neglected and abused. Indeed, revolutionary. This piece and the others that followed gave me the belief that there were other people like me who wanted so much more from life, and a little joy as good as well. It was my thinking that this is a good starting point, a way forward. Once started, move forward. Excess, move forward. Don't turn around. This is some of the music that brings blacks and whites together. This was and is very dangerous. This is an invitation across the nations for folks to meet. In the 1950s, some whites were listening to Bo Diddley. Bo Diddley said that when whites and blacks came to his shows, whites sat on one side and blacks on the other. When he plays, he has to play down the middle, because if he plays a little too much to one side, the other would get mad. Dancing in the Streets broke that with the public invitation. Break the past, join us in this struggle. Come, let us go dancing in the streets. Go dancing in the streets. This piece is dedicated to all involved in making Dancing in the Streets.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to print this out, so we're reading it from the device.
The device.
Okay. In the USA Empire, do red lives matter? From what is observed, the answer is a full-throated and conclusive no. There are Native people found drowned in rivers or found murdered, never investigated as serial killings or as separate murders. When was the first time you heard red lives matter? When was the last time? To the USA Empire, it's just another dead Indian. Most of the citizens in USA are amazed to find that Native people still exist. And when they do, they say it's too bad what we did to the Indian, without so much as a word about what we still do today. Who is the illegal alien pilgrim? We honor Native people by killing directly or indirectly, then honor the person USA has killed by naming streets, or sports teams, or cars, and on and on and on we name, all in the name of honor. We make movies of Native heroes who are always played by anyone but Indians, and when Indians do play these roles, they are not named for the top billing. Instead, whites who are in the supporting role or the character story get top billing. Trust me, if the shoe was on the other foot, any of these issues gringos with their white privilege would do is to raise such a stink, but you can't seem to smell your own corruption. When gringo thinks that they're getting gored, they are the first ones to complain, scream, and yell discrimination. USA, your kindness is malignant with your corrupted thought in your superiority. You are nothing but the smell of refuse. This is said not in hate, but in sadness and truth. With your passing, we can revisit the totality of the Iroquois Confederation, where our form of government is based, and include women left out by the white Christian men, and we see ourselves as who we are. One earth, one humanity. These things are always dependent upon your humanity.
Hey, there's your stand around. Thank you. Did you get it before it hit the floor? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Wow. There you go. That's the cut. There we go. That was great. I didn't didn't hear it go bumps. I wondered. All right.
I felt a tug.
You felt the tug, and it was not a hug. All right, so let me read the next 5 people coming up so that they know, and we know, and I know that you know, I know, you know, I know that I know, you know, I know, you know that I know. We have Philip Zimmerman, Al Nightingale, Dan Aaron, Ryan Austin, Dennis Abacha, Kenara, then David Reich on mini feature, to be followed by Greg Pond, Garrett Murphy, and Tom, who just walked in. Didn't he just walk in? I just saw him. We'll see. And then Hel Robbins getting the last word. So give Mr. Zimmerman a round of applause as he comes up here. Thank you again, Mr. Erdreich. The world appreciates this.
This is a little bit off topic, but I grew up in wheat country.
Wheat country?
Wheat country, where they raise wheat.
Oh, wheat.
Wheat.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
And,
My mind was going in the wrong direction.
That's why I want clarification.
So one of my first jobs was as a ride puller. So they hire kids to go out and they, for seed certification, you have to pull the grains that are not wheat out of the fields. So that is, anyway.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. Okay. Rye puller. Out on the breaks of the Deschutes, far above the boil below, shears grain, I met a man with a white tongue. Living under a juniper tree, I brought him oranges from far away. I could see he had scurvy and would die. He was so thin and gray. I was the rye puller in the gray that day, bending down to gently lay unwanted rye upon the ground. Moving slow and silent through the wheat, kid gleaner of the weeds of rye seed, thinking of that man whose house had become a tree, and wondering how he had become a weed.
Nice. And next time he comes in, we're going to make sure he reads 2.
I heard that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Mr. Al Nightingale, come on up. And then we have Dan Aaron, Ryan Austin, and Avacha. There we go. David Erdreich, and stagehand of Note Merritt, who is also our mini of the evening, as they say.
3 small poems and one. So, after scratching our heads, we scrape the sands in coin boxes and get ticks for try the prize. And your producers were so bored showing the horns of your bowler. They clowned out not very much, not very nice. Oh, Charlie Chaplin, to a slow ragtime by Scott Joplin, you get here on your aircraft, but the song as crotchety as ever